Hi everybody, welcome back. I want to start off by really apologising, not to you guys, but I'm apologising to my worms because I've been a really shitty worm dad or worm farmer, host, warden, whatever you want to call it. I've been really unfair to these guys because I have neglected them for the last 4, maybe 5 days. They should have been checked in on Tuesday and been taken care of. Today is now, it's Friday night, it's around 11 o'clock at night, and I've just had this guilt inside me that I haven't looked in on them. I knew that they were warm, I knew they were getting dry. I haven't had a chance to look at them, so I've got no idea what they're going to do. Today we're going to go really just look at all three, but I'm going to be focusing on the worm farm starter kit. And then if you watch the succession videos from this, I'll go into the breeding bin and our regular bin down below. Before we start, let's just take a look. See, I've been so neglectful. I put this on top and all the worms are now on the bottom of this pan and they've come up through here. So I'm going to just cut away, sort this out, and then we'll be back. Wow, I just lifted this up. Look how interesting that is. Look at all those mites on top of the box. That's new. And the bottom of this is absolutely covered in mites. There's some worms in there as well, but it is covered in mites. I feel really bad, really bad. It's been now 3.5 weeks since we set this up. The last time I came in, if you guys have been following the series on this worm starter kit, you'll know that I forgot to bring some leaves and stuff and food for them, so I just gave them some worm chow. When I checked in on here the other day, it was showing some fungal, like mold spores, and it's not that it was too wet and it went moldy. I added something to the chow, and I believe that's what made it moldy, because it happened on all 3 of my bins. So I was clearing out my pantry. I was clearing out the pantry, but we broke down one of our pop-ups, one of our coffee pop-ups. I have a specialty coffee company, and we broke down one of our pop-ups from our graffiti warehouse, and I brought the coffee counter and some of the equipment back to my house to try and store some of it away, because I don't have any storage left in the warehouse. And it really completely threw a spanner in the works. I've been playing catch up. The storeroom is a complete mess. I'm even ashamed to show you guys, and these guys have been neglected. So first things first, let's get our hands in here. Let me try and get some gloves on. Okay, so this was our worm farm starter kit. Started with 50 worms. The moisture level is great, even though I've neglected it. There's some flying insects around. I'm not sure if you can see that. Loads of flying insects around, actually. The moisture, it's a little dry, I must admit, but the worms are at the bottom. They did get some chow. I mean, that's not too bad, the size on that. So even though they've been neglected for a week, there's lots of stuff for them to eat in this bedding. This bedding, if you don't know, has had obviously eggshells, coffee grinds, cardboard, peanut shells, gypsum. So it's quite nutritious, and it was sitting around. It got fed with worm tea, so all the microbiology was right, and that was all before the worms went in. And I let that bedding sit for about 3 to 4 weeks. If you want to see the recipe for that bedding, I'll put the link for the short video up there. It's about, I don't know, 50 seconds long. Have a look. So this bedding is not dry. The bin is not dry. It's moist, but it could be better. There's some mites in here, but the worms seem to be happy. And I'm going to give them a really good feed today. So because I've felt really, first things first, let's just give these guys a really good wet. Originally, my intentions weren't to use any worm chow in this, even though I put some worm chow when I first put them in. And again, last time, because I forgot to bring up food, the intention for this worm farm starter kit is just to see how they do and how they get on with food scraps. If I spray, I'll be here all week. I think we have to be a little bit more drastic with the way that we're going to add moisture to this bin. Not much, maybe about half a litre of water. And then obviously from the foods that we're going to give them, that should boost their moisture as well. I've got them a little treat today. So I had some frozen mango in the freezer, which I had taken out with the intention of making a mango and Carolina Reaper chili sauce, hot sauce, and I never got around to it. And it defrosted and was sat in the fridge for the last 3-4 days, so I'm not going to use it now. But it was going to be perfect for these little fellas. So I'm just going to create a little feeding zone in the middle. Now that moisture's in, it's really good. The worms, they were okay actually. Still a really good size. They're still fattening up. There's a cocoon right here, if you can see that. Which is amazing because I hardly ever see these little fellas. Yeah, that moisture level's good now. Something that I'm definitely a lot more comfortable with. Honestly, I was feeling really, really anxious these past couple of days because I just kept on thinking, oh man, I need to go out and check on these worms. I need to go out and check on these worms. And it just wasn't happening. So I will put a little bit of, I'll put a little of this bedding down. I'm going to put, this is a half-eaten banana my son ate this morning. So I'm just going to put that down first. Just going to mush this banana up a little bit, middle there. And then oh yeah, that's nice and juicy and wet. It smells amazing. And this is just mango chunks. A bite like this, nice and frozen. And I use this to make my Reaper hot sauce. That's a lot of food in there, in all honesty. But, you know, it's like, you know, having, I'm not saying that I've ever done this, but being a dick to your wife and then having to buy her nice flowers. It's such a cliche. But yeah, I just feel like I'm spoiling them a little bit because I neglected them, but they're worth it. I'm sorry, guys. Thank you for staying alive. Excellent. Right, guys, thank you again, as always. I feel much more confident now and comfortable now that I've seen them and spent at least a few minutes with these guys. If you haven't done so already, please hit that like button. You know what to do. Subscribe to the channel, show your boy some love, and I'll hope to see you here next week when we check up on these guys and see how they're getting on with all this lovely food. This is going to go in here, like this. I'm going to cover this back up again to keep that moisture in. Luckily, this lid has been on here. The AC has been on in the storeroom, just because I need to keep everything temperature controlled. However, it is taking all the moisture out of the air, which is a bit of a bummer. But here we go. What can we do? Circumstances are circumstances. Thank you again for watching. I hope you guys are well and safe, and I hope to see you guys again soon.